Good evening, my friends. How are we? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. And my goodness, have we got a packed show for you. We're going to be talking about Liverpool's search, or the Michael Edwards search, as I'm going to call it. We're going to talk about possible alternatives. Of course, going to have a little look ahead to the game of the weekend against Nottingham Forest. Going to discuss the Marcus Rashford situation a little bit. And a few transfer gossip bits and pieces thrown in just for good measure. So, hope that you're all in good form this evening. Why wouldn't you be? It's great being a Liverpool fan at the minute, isn't it? We've got Jayden Danns, Lewis Kumas ripping up the FA Cup. We've got a trip to Old Trafford to look forward to, and the small matter of a game against Manchester City coming up on March the 10th. So, as always, thank you for your time this evening, for coming to have a chat with me. I appreciate it. It's your show. You tell me what you want me to discuss, and we'll get stuck into it. Just a bit of a warning. I have actually spent time writing some lyrics to the Rhythm is a Dancer song, so you're probably going to hear me sing that at some point during the stream. Because, we couldn't let my whole 11 minutes of hard work go unrewarded, right? So we'll talk about that as well. And as you can see, we are being brought to you tonight with thanks to our amazing sponsors, our longest serving compatriots, Surfshark, and I will of course give you information on how to avail of our Surfshark offer in a moment or two. Right, we all good? Thoughts on Archie Gray? Probably the same as you. Kid's a baller, real deal. And there's a little bit on him tonight as well, actually. Liverpool are one of a host of clubs keeping track of Leeds' Archie Gray. Craig, how's your week been? Up and down, Michael, up and down. On a footballing perspective with Liverpool, brilliant. Behind the scenes, a little bit of a headache, but that's the joys of being a content creator. Craig, you think Liverpool will beat Forest and City? Forest, I feel yes. City, it's hard to predict, isn't it? Like, let's be honest. I feel comfortable, like I've said all along, to say I don't think we lose the game against City, but they're a good team. I've got to be mindful of that. But I don't think they're as fearful as they were in recent years. So, yeah, I'm feeling pretty ballsy going into the game. Be nice to know who exactly we have fit and available for it. But until then, yeah, I'm optimistic. I feel like they're not going to be leaving with 3 points. I feel comfortable to say that. Mark put in a message, and again, Mark, thank you for your 7 months membership, your 27 months membership. How dare I underplay your membership, Mark? 27 months. Last night was Klopp's last ever Anfield FA Cup game, which is of course absolutely true. Should we make it past Manchester United, Wembley semi-final, and of course then a potential Wembley final as well. So yes, it was. Craig, you're a legend. God bless you, champ. Thank you. Appreciate that. So, shall we start off with the Rhythm is a Dancer? I got to get it out of the way, don't I? So, shall I let you guys into my lyrics? Now, before you get stuck into me, I love cheesiness. I am the king of cheese in my house. So, as soon as this opportunity came up, I got to have a bash at it, right? Now, there will be better singers out there. There will be people more equipped to this than me. But hey, I had a go, so let's have a bash at it. You ready? Right, imagine the music and all now. Rhythm is a dancer, he's gonna make us champions. He can score from everywhere. Lift your hands and voices, free your mind and join us. There's something special in the air. Ah, it's a passion. And I'll let you sing the rest. So there you go. That is my lyrics. It is Rhythm is a Dancer. He's going to make us champions. He can score from everywhere. Lift your hands and voices. Free your mind and join us. There's something special in the air. There we go. So surely, come on now. Come on. Not too bad for an idiot, surely. So there we go. That's how I spent my evening yesterday at about 1 a.m. Just sitting there going, ooh. So I had a bit of fun with it. So there we go. It won't be available on Spotify anytime soon. You'll be delighted to know. That was Smith. That was awesome, Asher. Now look, mate, if you think it's Smith, have a better go. Have a go. Give me a better version of it. I'm just trying to contribute a little bit, mate. Just trying to leave my tiniest little of marks. Right. Jesus, let the kids establish themselves first. I mean, for the love of God, there's always somebody who wants to rain in a parade. Don't praise somebody, moan. Praise somebody, moan. Our fan base are a very weird type. So look, I would say, yes, let him establish himself, of course. But are we not right to celebrate that moment last night? Are we not right to enjoy the 2 goals from him and the goal from Kumas? Come on now. I do get where you're coming from, and I'm not going to say that the dude's going to win the Ballon d'Or next year, but if we can't enjoy these moments, man, what's the point of it? Now look, we as fans, we don't want to build people up just to knock them down, so yes, some, what's the word I'm looking for? Balance is probably required here. And look, Dan's will probably drift in and out over the next year or two as he looks to establish himself, but come on, show the kids some love. Top of the Pops are on the phone for you. Yeah, saying don't ever. It's with a cease and desist, probably, Neil, right? I love the way my family wait till I start work and then go and open and close and bang every door in the house. Go outside to the car, open and close it. Go to the bin, bang it. It's almost as if they're trying to wind me up, folks. Right, let's get into the news then. Where to start? We'll start with Paul Pogba. Mr. Paul Pogba has been banned from football for 4 years. He will, of course, appeal this to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, but as it stands, Paul Pogba has been banned from football for 4 years, meaning if he was to try and make a comeback to resurrect his career, he would be 34 years of age at that point. And of course, look, everybody is allowed due process, everybody is entitled to an appeal, and I'm not going to try and second guess the outcome of that because I don't know enough about the situation. But what we can report on is the facts, and the facts at the moment are that Mr. Paul Pogba is going to be serving a 4-year ban. A little bit now on Simon Rolfs, the sporting director or the CEO of Bayer Leverkusen. He's been speaking about the Alonso situation from their perspective, and this is what he had to say. I remain calm and optimistic. The most important thing for managers is that they feel comfortable and that they're feeling that they're in the right place. He goes on to say, Xabi knows what he has at the club. He has said that many times. This is how he works with his team and his coaching team every day. Again, I understand it. I've got to say, I get it, but also you have to have some type of realism for the trajectory of a manager. And yes, I do fully appreciate that Leverkusen would have expected maybe at least another year. But you know, the Liverpool job ain't going to be around in a year. So if Mr. Alonso does indeed want to come and join Liverpool, then I'm not going to say it's a now or never situation, but it's definitely you're not going to get better time than now to come and join the revolution. Can my family please stop opening and closing every goddamn door in the house? Thank you. Love you. Mwah. Right, a little bit as well on Fabrizio Romano, who said Liverpool will keep an eye on wingers and centre-backs. They're following some players and sending scouts to other countries. In England, Pedro Neto has been followed by Liverpool. Again, followed by Liverpool, but do we think realistically Liverpool are going to pay the potential club record fee that Wolves would be looking for? I don't think so. And look, before I get into the sporting director search and some more stuff, of course, a quick word from our sponsors. You may notice that we are proudly being brought to you tonight with thanks to Surfshark. Surfshark is an app or browser extension that allows you to change your location and access websites in other countries and keep yourself safe and secure from hackers. Surfshark lets you virtually travel the world with just the tip of a finger. For example, using Surfshark, we here in Ireland can access other countries' Netflix libraries, UK services such as the BBC iPlayer or other streaming platforms such as, of course, DAZN in Spain. Surfshark keeps you safe and secure by protecting everything that you do online. When your device connects to the internet, all of your information is, in a way, kind of blurred out. Think of it that way. Surfshark's particularly useful if you're out and about on public Wi-Fi, if you're in college, if you're out at a cafe, stuff like that. Surfshark helps to keep you secure. Surfshark allows you to use only one subscription across all of your devices. Think about that. One subscription, all of your devices covered, and they even encourage you to give your password and sign in to your family and friends to allow them to look at the Surfshark experience. On top of this, Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you don't believe that Surfshark fulfills your VPN needs, they will refund your money. You can also upgrade to Surfshark One, which includes the VPN, an alert system for breaches related to your data such as emails or credit cards, and antivirus software for your desktop. Now, to summarise it all and bring it all together for you, my friends, our sign-up offer that you can scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in the description will give you Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 6 months additional free. Simply scan the QR code on the screen or use the link in the description, remembering to put in the code Anfield Agenda, all one word, at checkout. That's Anfield Agenda, all one word. And again, thank you to our friends at Surfshark, our longest serving partners. Right, Jack, how are you, mate? Thank you for the super chat. I'm just scrolling back up to make sure I haven't missed that. And Jack, I think, there we go. Was there a membership somewhere? I think I missed a new member, so apologies on that one to our new member. Not sure if it's just FSG worries, but I have a bad feeling we won't get Xabi. Never mind Edwards. Just feel I can't trust them to get it done. So I've spent a lot of the day today, Jack, reading up on obviously Liverpool's accounts that were published, but more so on this desire that FSG and particularly John W. Henry seems to want to bring Michael Edwards back. The article from Simon Hughes today has indicated there has been no indication from Michael Edwards that his stance has softened or that he'd be willing or wanting to come back to Liverpool. But I guess the question I keep asking is, these briefs that keep coming out about power, responsibility, roles at the club, are they coming from his side or are they coming from the journalists just guessing? I don't know the answer at this point, but it does seem like FSG have Michael Edwards in their sights as the preferred person they'd like to bring in. But if they do come in, interestingly, Fabrizio Romano has said that Bournemouth's technical director, Richard Hughes, is really appreciated by people at Liverpool and could help their search for a sporting director. On top of that, there's been another article today written that said if Richard Hughes comes in, it would be more likely if Michael Edwards comes in. So at the moment, folks, I don't know what to believe with regards to the sporting director search, but do I trust FSG? To get back to Jack's statement, well, on this matter, yes, I do. And you probably won't hear me saying that very often, Jack, but on this one and the appointments, I have to say overall I think FSG have done a good job in their appointments at the club, whether that is Jurgen Klopp, whether that is Michael Edwards, Julian Ward, all of these other roles. Let's be honest, Billy Hogan, they've filled them well. So in this regard, yes, I do trust them on this particular subject, mate. I do. What's your opinion on Sherwood saying Liverpool have a weak squad and they won't win any more trophies? Well, I didn't see that, so I'm taking it as true that he's wrote that or said that. I don't give a shite what Sherwood has to say. He was a decent player, a failed manager, and is now sitting on as a pundit to make sound bites and say flashy things. Ask Sherwood, would he be willing to put 10 grand down to see if Liverpool wouldn't win any more trophies? And let's see, if he's really of that mindset. Look, it doesn't matter. I don't care what he says. I'm sure you don't care what he says. And I'm pretty confident I can say Klopp and the players don't care what Sherwood said. So let him have whatever little rambling moments he wants, Kate. And we'll move on. Would I prefer Neto or Bowen? Colin Blackshaw, thank you for the comment, mate. And thank you for your 4 months of membership. What I prefer? Bowen. I got to be honest, mate. I would prefer Bowen. But what we can't get away from is Neto's younger. Now on that, actually, interestingly, I'm sure you guys have seen this today, but lots of reports that Liverpool have singled out the centre-back and winger position as one that we need to strengthen in the summer. And I'd love to know your take on that. Who would you like to see come in realistically? And how are you feeling about the Salah situation? Because I have to say, as soon as I heard we're looking for wingers, my mind went, do we look for a winger because we need competition for Mo? Which, to be fair, we could probably do it if Mo stays even. Or are we looking for somebody to maybe replace Mo? I hope it's the first part. I hope we're looking for somebody the pressure off a little bit, because we are struggling for a right-sided attacker. Yes, we have Craig Houlden and a couple of other younger players, but realistically, as we've seen when Salah's out, we're kind of having to shoehorn people into that right-hand side position. I better get to watch football, Craig. So yeah, I wish I did watch a lot, only one time every month. I watch football daily, mate. Can't get enough of it. Never ending. Always watching. Always reading. My life revolves around football, man. I think it did flick there for a second. Sorry. The internet did flick. I could see it at my end. Just refresh. Apologies. It did flick. You are right. You're spot on. I could see it at my end. So just flick. Refresh for 1 second, guys, if it happens. Apologies. I'm going to give you guys a second there just to refresh that. My apologies on that. What's this one? What's this? Okay, cool. Cool. All good. All back. Right. So you're probably wondering about the stream title, right? You're probably wondering what's all this about, Craig? Liverpool most watched team in the world. Fact. Well, you'll be delighted to know it is actually a fact. So let me read this out to you. This came on, I think, a post put out by the Echo with regard to the club's published accounts today. So everything will have their own things they look for in that. But I always look for the bits that are missed or the bits that don't really get publicised. The numbers, they're going to be publicised far and wide with regards to income, expenditure, wages, all that kind of stuff. But this part caught my eye. The club, according to analysis from Nielsen Sports, is the most watched team in world football across the past 5 seasons, with an average per season broadcast audience of over 724 million over the course of each one of those seasons. The article goes on to say, from a digital perspective, now listen up, Manchester City, pay attention to this. From a digital perspective, in current reporting period, Liverpool became the first club in Premier League to reach 8 million YouTube subscribers and surpassed 40 million followers on both Instagram and Facebook. Do you hear that, Manchester City? Real followers, real human people, not bots, not creativity, real human people. 40 million followers on both Instagram and Facebook, meaning the club now has over 173 million social media followers across all of its men's and women's channels. So, obviously they would have gotten a YouTube gold button, right? Has anybody seen it? Have they posted it? And the club love to parade the trophies, but surely there has to be a place in the club museum for the 1 million subscriber plaque. Gotta be, right? Surely we've got to see that in the Anfield Museum soon, because it's a big achievement. 1 million subscribers on the YouTube channel? Come on now. I mean, it's no European Cup, granted, but still a big achievement. One that I'll probably never get to, but there you go. Craig, what's your thoughts on Pogba, and is there any update on our injured players? So, I think Klopp's press conference is tomorrow. And my thoughts on Pogba, look, honestly, I don't know. I don't know, because you're talking about the analysis of medical things and tests. I don't understand it. It is, I get the gist of what the problem is, but I don't see how I in good conscience can sit here and say Paul Pogba is guilty or innocent. I haven't got a clue. He's been found to have had this substance in his body, and of course he, like everybody else, has the legal right to go through the process of appealing to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, and that ruling could actually be appealed by the doping body if they don't like the decision. So it's still up in the air. At the moment, it's a 4-year ban. The only thing I would say is, in all of these subjects, and I'm certainly not pointing the finger at Pogba here, but wouldn't it be refreshing, just once, to see somebody go, yeah, I did it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, fair cop, I did it. Everybody always pleads I didn't knowingly take X, Y, or Z. And look, as I said, I am not talking about Paul Pogba in this situation, but it would be refreshing at some point for somebody just to go, yeah, I did it. Fair cop. But of course, everybody wants to protect the brand, the name, the reputation. But look, he has every right to go through the due process and see what the situation entails. If he is banned till he's 34, it'll be hard to get his career back to a really high level. But he'll make that decision along with his family, I'm sure, in his own time. Is Amarim better for us due to our youngsters? than Alonso, I would say no. I would say Amarum, in my opinion, Team Shark Meg, is probably best of the rest. But I have to be honest about this. From day one, I've said if it isn't Alonso, it's going to feel like a bit of a step down to whoever else, because I'm kind of emotionally invested in Alonso, but that's my problem, not Alonso's. Hey Craig, just got a chance to tune in. Please, can you repeat what I've missed? I can't remember what we spoke about, Ben, in all honesty, mate. From start to finish, we talked a little bit about the club's growth across social media, the club's reports today. Actually, while we're on that, again, I want to give credit to Paul Gorst of The Echo for this, because he wrote these words. And it's his take on the game against Southampton and the kids on the pitch. And I wanted to read it out to you because, look, you know me. I'm somebody who isn't backwards about sharing an opinion and being critical of people. But I also want you guys to know and see that I'm also somebody that's more than willing to give credit to people who I think do good stuff. And this from Paul Gorst I actually really liked. Let me read it out to you. He said, "We only play the kids, croon the cop as they finish the game with a team containing Bradley, Kwanzaa, Trey Neone, Dans Clark and Cade Gordon, who joined late for Gakpo. We haven't won a trophy since Sunday afternoon was the new terrace anthem that brought a close to proceedings. They had their fun here all right. And if it was needed, the last few days have vindicated the decision, one that was taken with a heavy heart, to leave the iconic Melwood for the £50 million AXA training facility, which is situated on the same site as the academy. That 2020 move has opened the pathways, both figuratively and literally, for so many to catch the eye of the people who matter in the senior setup. It's what has helped make evenings like this one and Sunday possible." I think that's a great little bit of writing from Paul, and he's right. He is right. This was Jurgen's vision. He pitched it to FSG to bring the academy and the senior team closer together, to show that pathway through, and it is paying dividends already. Yes, it is maybe obvious to some people, but it wasn't at the club when it happened. Jurgen brought it in. The owners backed him to the tune of 50 million for that facility, and as Paul Gorst has said here, it is already starting to pay dividends. Look at the talent that is coming through that has already helped us out over the past couple of weeks. So well done to Paul on that bit of writing, and I absolutely agree with what he said. Would you take Madrid's Rodrigo to replace Mo? Yeah, I like Rodrigo. I don't want to replace Mo, but you asked me would I take Rodrigo. Yes, I think... Didn't he sign a new contract last year, though, if I'm not mistaken? And I'm sure there's a very, very hefty buyout clause in that. But yeah, I think he's a good player, Rodrigo, and certainly stepped up a gear or two over the last year. George Edwards said, "Hi Craig, your routine for me now. Love your channel so much." Thank you, George. You've gotten me through some hard times. How are you? I'm alright, yeah. I'm still struggling to get over this virus, mate, but I'm alright. Lots of stuff going on in the background. The life of a content creator is never dull, particularly when you're trying to chase people who are playing silly beggars with regards to invoices and stuff. But that's part of the day-to-day routine of it. But I'm all right, mate. Thanks for asking. David Dalglish, how are you, sir? Nice to see you in. Thank you for your super sticker, buddy. Really appreciate it. Craig, when is the Notts Forest preview up? So I recorded it already. It is recorded, but it's going to go out tomorrow because tomorrow's my day off. I haven't had a day off since I've been ill in about 3 weeks. So I'm going to take tomorrow off ahead of the game on Saturday. So the preview will be coming out tomorrow. Which was really hard to do, by the way, because I haven't seen the press conference yet from Klopp. So I had to kind of somewhat guess who I think is going to be available and build a team from that and a score prediction from that. Not football related, but thoughts on Hamilton to Ferrari. I'm not really a keen Formula 1 viewer, so as I understand it, he's living a childhood dream of wanting to race with Ferrari. Obviously, I think he's got 7 world's titles with McLaren Mercedes. Look, if it's good for the sport, you can let me know, but I can see the appeal. I mean, look, Ferrari is a pretty cool brand to be driving with and working with. Could Elliott replace Salah on the right wing? I think the majority, of people would probably say no. I don't think he has the pace, particularly on the counter-attack. he's got the ability. But I like that Klopp's turning him into a midfielder or maybe a number 10. But no, I don't think he has the pace to do what Mo does on the right wing. That's one part of Elliott's game that even I, as one of his biggest cheerleaders, would have to say is a little bit lacking in. But it's one of very few things I think he's lacking in, because I think Elliott's an outstanding footballer. Thoughts on injuries for Saturday? So I think Salah might be the only one that's out to start. That's as much as I could probably say, Neville. I'd be very, very, very surprised if we see Szoboszlai or Darwin in the starting 11. Whereas Mo, it was fatigue. It wasn't like he had a new injury setback or anything. So I think we may see him start. Any Xabi Alonso updates? Well, actually, we do have a list of what the latest situation is here. A summary of the list around Alonso. Happy to read it out to you. So, Alonso would cost approximately 13 to 21 million if you were to take him from Leverkusen, based off reports from Germany. Sky Sports Germany claim Alonso prefers a move to Bayern. Here in the real world, we all laugh at that and claim, haha, you're full of it. Okay, maybe I've just inserted that part in. I don't believe that for 1 second. And do you know what? I'm going to go even further. I don't think Plettenberg and those other sources aside Germany, other sources, believe it either. I think they're just trying to fight the corner of German football, which I kind of understand, but again, don't profess to have any level of balanced reporting. It's not there. So either way, Bayern wants to make Alonso the highest paid Bundesliga manager ever. Rumoured to be about 380 grand a week, I think they're looking to pay him, which is all very well and good, but how long would he last? Because as we've seen before, Julian Nagelsmann got the boo from Bayern Munich when he had only lost 3 games in all competitions so far in a year, and he got the boo. So it's all very well and good saying what he might get paid, but how long would he get paid that for before you got bored or decided he wasn't good enough? On top of that, we have claims that he prefers Liverpool from a couple of other journalists. Bild claim Liverpool have now made contact with Leverkusen and his agent. Sasha Tavolieri said he's closer and closer to Liverpool, and that he doesn't appreciate the way Bayern are approaching him. So apparently from the Leverkusen side, reports have said Liverpool have been very respectful and mindful that he is in a job at Leverkusen, and how they've gone through the right channels of approaching his agent and registering an interest with Leverkusen. On top of this, we have Bayern already looking at a possible plan B. Zidane and De Zerbi are mentioned there. Ruben Amorim is Liverpool's plan B, which I think makes a lot of sense to us. And that's pretty much where we're at with the updates. That's the most I could gather together today anyway. A little bit on Liverpool's numbers from the accounts released today. James Pearce, writing for The Athletic, has said Liverpool's latest set of accounts for the 2022-23 season saw the club record a pre-tax loss of £9 million or $11.4 million. Overall revenue for the year to the end of May 2023 remained unchanged at $594 million after a disappointing campaign saw Jurgen Klopp's side finish 5th in the Premier League table, suffer early exits from domestic cups and only reach the last 16 of the Champions League. Goes on to say Liverpool's wage bill continued to rise, up from £336 million to £373 million, so not that much of an increase there, £7 million. With total administrative costs climbing from $545 million to $562 million. External net debts went up sharply from $74.6 million to $123 million. So that's the gist of it. But look, I'm not going to bore you and go into the numbers, because there will be people far better placed than me to explain those numbers. The likes of the Swiss Ramble, the likes of Mo Chatra, I think he works with Anfield Index. These are the guys who will break the numbers down for you and understand football finance way more than this idiot does. Barry Taylor. Barry, how are you, mate? Thank you again for dropping in, mate, and thank you for your super chat. You're a very generous dude. Craig, hey Craig Bud, today's PGMOL Tierney says, please get me out. Get me on Liverpool. I reckon he's hacked into the officiating road of the amount of games he gets. Dream team with elbow man, assistant and VAR for Forest. Yes. So for those that aren't aware, Tierney is going to be the referee for the game against Nottingham Forest. And I'm trying to remember, I think it's Stuart Atwell on VAR with the assistant VAR being Konstantin Hadzidakis, who you might remember from the elbow thrown towards Andy Robertson. Any news on Barca's new manager? Not really. The only name I've actually seen really mentioned for it is De Zerbi, but I don't know if Barcelona could afford to buy De Zerbi out of the contract at Brighton. And I'm not saying that, as a dig. I think it's a sincere comment. I saw earlier from Gabriel McCuddy said Liverpool contacted Xabi's agent. Let's hope they can reach an agreement. Yeah, I believe that to be the case as well, Tony. Excuse me. From what I've been reading today, it does seem like Liverpool have gone through the right channels here in registering an interest with Bayer Leverkusen directly, and of course going to Xabi Alonso's agent to register their interest in bringing him to Anfield. Football Lord said, Craig, I'm going to the match on March 10th versus 115 Charges FC. Enjoy, mate. Right, I want to just have my... I'm very jealous of that, by the way. What a game that's going to be, mate. What an atmosphere. I'm going to have to just think about that for a sec. Yeah, you're going to enjoy it. Have a great one. I'm very jealous. So, look, let's talk about Marcus Rashford, if I can, for a minute. We don't usually go into detail on stuff like this, but I read this article on Sky Sports today, and I'm sure that you've seen I don't know if it's a statement or a post from Marcus Rashford, but let me read out what he said, and then I'm going to give you my quick take on it. Now, there's a more in-depth video up on Top of the League, giving my thoughts on the situation, but he wrote, I don't normally like to respond to things said about me. It's not in my nature. I'm an introvert. I don't even like talking about myself unless I really know you. So 99% of the time I can ignore the noise. But sometimes certain lines get crossed and I can't help but want people to understand who I am as a person. I'm not trying to have a go at the media. I understand the game. You know what I mean. They're not really writing about me. It's like they're writing about this character, Marcus Rashford. It can't just be about me as a 26-year-old lad on a night out or a lad getting a parking ticket. It's got to be about how much my car costs, guessing my weekly salary, my jewellery, or even my tattoos. It's got to be about my body language and questioning my morals and speculating about my family and my football future. There's a tone to it that you don't get with all footballers. Let's just leave it at that. Now, everybody will, of course, have their own perceptions of what Marcus Rashford was trying to say here. For me, a couple of things stood out to me in that. The admission that he is, as a person, an introvert, I think is a very important factor. Because we all assume that they're big-time Charlies, professional footballers, loads of money, flash cars, all this other stuff. But they're human beings as well. And we've spoken about this. It doesn't matter how much money you make or what your status is in the world. If you are an introvert or you are somebody who maybe feels the pressures, guess what? You're a human. So I have every sympathy for Marcus Rashford. And again, I'm not trying to put words in the young man's mouth because, again, he's written this himself. But I think what he's leaned into there is an issue that I think needs to be called out more. And that is, there is a certain way certain players are reported on. And I'm going to go a little bit step further than Marcus did because he's more of a professional than I am. I feel like he's speaking about the way young, successful black athletes are being reported occasionally. Look back to Raheem Sterling and look back about some of the wording in some of the newspapers. The red tops I'm more looking at here. About mansions, flash cars, jewellery, all the things Marcus Rashford said there. It's quite frankly nobody's business. And I do agree with him that there has been a difference of reporting for some players over other players. Some players, for some reason, are media darlings. Some others are judged on things outside of their football ability. Now look, I laugh and joke about his reported wage as an opposition fan, but I've never, ever, ever gone in on any player for a personal issue or issues outside of football. Actually, do you know what? I'm lying to you because I have mocked Grealish once before for crashing his car. I did do that, so I'll put my hands up to that. But what I take from all of this is that the young man needs an arm around the shoulder. He's basically letting the world know, as he said, he's an introvert. His personality is to keep to himself. So he strikes me as somebody who, if England want to do well in the Euros, if England and Manchester United want to get the most out of Marcus Rashford, heed the man's words, put an arm around his shoulder and build up his self-esteem again, because it can't be easy being the local guy at a football club. We've heard about Jamie Carragher, we've heard about Gary Neville, and others talk about it, and they were able for it. They were able to have the hopes and wishes of the locals on their shoulders, because they used it to feed themselves. They used it to bring out their better performances and to add a little bit extra to their game. Not all people respond to these things in the same way. So I just hope they give Marcus Rashford a break, heed his words, and understand that we're here to judge these guys on football and nothing else. Everything outside of that is their own personal business. And the man should be commended for everything that he did for those kids during the COVID times, for the hot meals. You could even see in his interview with Barack Obama back in the day, he doesn't like the limelight and the cameras on him. He is just a humble kid from Manchester that's done well. And I think we all need to get, the world needs to get off his back a little bit and just let the kid play football. Same goes for anybody else, by the way. You know, as I've gotten a bit older and as I've been doing this content lark a little bit longer, I've had to second guess my own take on things and how I perceive players to be as well. And we're always learning and evolving as people. But Rashford, he's certainly put a lot more good into the world than bad, hasn't he? So give the dude a break. That's what I'd say on that. Now, obviously, from a footballing perspective, I don't want United to do well in any way, shape or form. In fact, I want them to be as miserable as possible. But from a human perspective, always had a lot of respect for Rashford. If Rashford was an introvert, he wouldn't have called on the government to feed the children. Bullshit. Sorry, mate. Bullshit. Why wouldn't he have done it? In fact, I would say the fact that he's an introvert and he still did that shows how much that matter meant to Marcus Rashford. That would be my response to what you've said. Just because somebody's an introvert doesn't mean that they still don't have morals that they stand over or that they believe are important. And he has a team around him to help with these things, but that's nonsense. Say he can't be an introvert and do that. Of course he can. Anyway, as I said, I'm not here to speak about United forever, but I just wanted to bring that up because of my stance on mental health more than anything. You know, I think sometimes we need to lay off a little bit. Critique the man's football ability, critique his performances, critique his goal scoring or whatever. That's it. That's fair game. He is a footballer. But outside of it, I get where he's coming from about the reporting. And I don't think he's talking about the public here. He's very clearly calling out the media. So yes, there are certain reporting of himself and other players who've had some success at a younger age. And you know what I'm talking about. You know what he's talking about. With the greatest respect, Craig, he isn't putting the effort in on the pitch. And that, absolutely. But if there's, how do I say this? Absolutely fine to critique a footballing performance. Absolutely fine. But maybe he's trying to say that there are external factors that are leaning into why he maybe isn't performing to the levels that we all know he's capable of. But look, to me, this is a brave move from Rashford to put himself out there and give his take on it. I'm not saying you have to agree with every word of it. I'm not saying you have to buy everything he said. But the fact that he feels he has to make this statement is, I think, enough to say, are the media, and I guess we fall under that category as a fan channel, you know, do we have boundaries that we've crossed at times maybe? I don't know the answer to that. What's up with Darwin, Salah and Dom? Because I hope they're good for Forest, said Stephen Irons. My own hope, mate, and it is just hope at this point, is that I hope Klopp's press comes at 11:30 in the morning. Good. So we'll have more information on that. Thank you, Mark. I'm only expecting Salah to start, if I'm being honest with you. I think Darwin may be on the bench, and I really don't know what is happening with Szoboszlai. I don't know. You know, there's been some stuff coming out of the Hungarian side to say it might be a bit longer. I've not seen anything from the UK side or from the club on that. But I'm sure, again, Jurgen will give us an update tomorrow morning for the press conference. Could you talk about the Bruno and Fulham situation? So I haven't seen. I know what you're speaking about. There's a TikTok, I think, that Fulham put out. And again, having read just a little bit on this, I think it was something to do with they mock him for diving or something. Again, I haven't seen the TikTok, but I've seen an article written about it. It is a tough one, that I've got to. There is a perception about Bruno, that he whines and moans a lot. For example, Stuart Broad, I think, was on Sky, and he was saying that that's his perception of him from the outside. And I think when you have that tag around your neck, you are an easy target for diving, or if you do these things, for being called out for it. And honestly, you might say it's unprofessional, and I could get that, but is it banter? You know, I mean, it was for an incident on the pitch. Now, again, I haven't seen the TikTok, so I'm kind of sailing a bit blind here. I did see the goal, though, that you guys were talking about last night, to say that there was a similar incident to Virgil van Dijk's goal that was ruled out. I have to say, on watching it once, I didn't necessarily see the similarity, but I'm absolutely open to being corrected in the comments about it. And I have only seen the goal once or twice, and I haven't really dissected it. I have so many notes to get through today, by the way. So Ben Jacobs has said Michael Edwards is considering whether to hold face-to-face talks with FSG chiefs in the coming days. Ian Graham is at the Sloan Sports Analytics Conference, and it's possible Edwards travels to Boston as well. Now, I don't know if Ben Jacobs has intel on this, or if he's putting two and two together maybe and, you know, trying to come up with four, but I hope that if he is going to be in Boston at that conference, that, yeah, FSG do try to reach out to him in person and, I guess, feel out the situation and know if they're wasting their time or not. Bruno was just not fit for captain. He also probably already peaked in his career and is on a downward spiral. So I agree. On that, I agree. I don't think he carries himself on the pitch the way you would want a Manchester United captain to carry themselves. I would agree with you on that. But I also have to remember that I'm a Liverpool fan, and I find this stuff kind of funny at times, because I do think he's a bit of a whiner. And I thought it was a weird appointment to give him the captain's armband. Barry Taylor, you big legend. After gifting 20 Anfield Agenda memberships, Barry, you're very kind, and I know that they will be greatly appreciated by everybody that's in the chat. Awesome, Barry. Thank you, mate. Yeah, I don't think anybody really understands the whole Manchester United captaincy thing. It does feel a little bit weird giving it to Bruno. Do, by the way, drop a like on the stream if you haven't done so, my friends. And have a look in the top corner. As you can see, we did it last night. We did it late overnight. 245,000 Anfield Agenda community members now. And the countdown now really is on. Our goal is to try and get to 250,000 subscribers by this moment. By the time we take the stage in Boston, March 22nd, at the House of Blues in the Foundation Room there at the Citizens House of Blues. Tickets, link in the description, or get yourself over to Ticketmaster and search on there. That's our goal, to hit 250k before we reach Boston. Craig, I'm a bit worried about the fixture congestion because we have the second leg of the Europa on the 14th and then we play United 2 days later. So I would imagine, almost without any hesitation, the United game will be on the Sunday. It won't be on the Saturday. I'd be amazed if that's the case. I guess there's one way we could put that problem to bed. Go over and win handily in the first leg over in Prague and bring a healthy lead back to Anfield and have the big boys on the bench just in case. Congestion is going to be a bit of an issue. The deeper you go in tournaments, yep, the Everton game that was scheduled to take place that weekend is now going to have to be moved and fit somewhere into the schedule between now and the end of the season. So fixture congestion does become a bit of a headache, all right? You missed my members' milestone chat. Sorry, Heavy Metal D. Bear with me, bro. Moolah said, every team in England want to be like us. The Klopp effect. Thank you for your 6-month membership, mate. Heavy Metal D, here you go. Sorry, mate. Said, evening, Craig. Another month being part of this amazing channel. The past 2 games have been fantastic, and honestly, the youth coming through is great. So what you're trying to say there is rhythm is a dancer, Heavy Metal D. It's been amazing, but like the whole Luke Littler situation, it's great. We have the moments with these guys and we big them up and, you know, we make them feel like $1 million because they should. But it's also right to temper expectation and to realise that these are still young men at the start of their careers. So let's not be part of that build them up to knock them down mentality. Let's just appreciate the milestones as and when they achieve them. And whatever else happens, what a night for Kumas, what a night for Dans, what a night for their parents, for the coaches to help bring them through. And yeah, it was amazing, wasn't it? Absolutely amazing last night. 3-0 victory at home. Kelleher, another masterclass in goal as well. Just good vibes all around. And is there many other clubs that could have carried this the way we have with all the injuries and stuff? Well, you would have to say a big part of that comes down to the gaffer, right? To the motivation of Klopp, to the situation that he's leaving us at the end of the season and everybody wanting to make sure that he goes out with as big a bang as possible. Interesting on something Jamie Carragher said. I want to just pick up on that. He was talking about the Michael Edwards situation, and I don't want to say the hype around Michael Edwards, but he was basically just saying that, yes, Edwards was an important part of the makeup at Liverpool that helped us to win trophies and become a more successful club under Jurgen than we were previously. But Jamie went out of his way to say, make no mistake about it, and I'm paraphrasing here, Jurgen Klopp is the man who deserves most of that praise. And I agree with him. Look, we all have fond memories of Michael Edwards. In his 11 years of the club, he very much did do a good job. But Jurgen is the major factor in the success. And the relationship, of course, that he had with Jurgen and Michael Edwards, that relationship was a good working relationship. But I don't know if Jamie's perhaps trying to temper expectations in case Edwards did come back. Like, I wonder if, and again, not to try and put words in Carragher's mouth, but if he's trying to say something along the lines of, you know, if he comes in and the next manager's there, don't be expecting miracles immediately. You know, give it a bit of time, or, you know, I like that he was pointing out that Klopp deserves the praise, basically, is my long-winded way of going about that. The Heart of Football said, Craig, do you think Arsenal can win the Prem? And thank you for being a member for 6 months, mate. Do I think Arsenal can win the Prem? Yes. I'm starting to think that they are going to last the pace. I think it's all going to come down to the games against City for us and for Arsenal. We take on City at Anfield. Arsenal have to travel to the Emirates to take, or not the Emirates, the Etihad to take them on. If they can get something from the Etihad, yeah, that's gonna be an indicator for me that they're the real deal. If they lose at the Etihad, I don't know. I think if we're top of the league table after those rounds of games where we play Manchester City and Arsenal play Manchester City, we go on to win the league, in my opinion. If Arsenal are top after those round of games, I think Arsenal could go on and win the league. And if they do, like I've always said, I'll be the first one on here to congratulate them because I have respect for Arsenal. Not so much so for the Manchester 115. Arsenal have the more difficult run in. Oh, I don't know, Imran. The fixture run for City over the next 5 games is not great, mate. Manchester, excuse me, got the hiccups. Manchester Derby, Liverpool, Arsenal. I think there's Spurs in there or something as well. Or Brighton away, maybe. Yeah, they've got a tricky run. What happened to Mundo Sporto? I don't know which one of the channels it is now, mate. Whether it's the Clip channel or whether it's the Top of the League channel. I don't know. But look, do check out both, by the way. Anfield Agenda Clips is continuing to grow. It's gone past 27,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed, just search Anfield Agenda Clips. And of course, tonight, again, just a reminder, we're being brought to you with thanks to our friends at Surfshark. You can scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description to get yourself that amazing deal of Surfshark VPN for just over €2 per month and up to 6 months free. Anfield Agenda is the code you need to use at checkout. Anfield Agenda, all one word. Remember, Saturday, game isn't on TV in the UK. What are you going to do? You're going to probably have to get creative. No better people to get creative with than our friends at Surfshark, who can help put you in whatever part of the world you want to be in to watch that game. Scan the QR code on screen or use the link in the description. Anfield Agenda, just as you see it written on the screen. That's your code. Right. Any chance of you team watch-alongs on quiet days? No. Not for me. I just don't have the time, in all honesty. It's hard enough trying to keep up to date with the news and get everything produced in the background and ready to go for these. So, no. I think my daughter has been very surprised at the actual behind-the-scenes work that goes into what any channel does. And I tell you what, it's been a slog the past few weeks to try and play catch-up since I was out sick. But honestly, I don't have the time. Mark, welcome back to Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Our schedule is pretty mixed as well. It's too soon to base it off our schedules. For me, I've said this for a while, it comes down to the City game. If we beat City, I think we're going to do it. If we lose to City, I think City do it. If we draw, I don't know then. Genuinely, I don't know. Then I start looking at the goal difference maybe at that point. Right, so, a couple of transfer updates. Fabrizio Romano has said Liverpool were looking to get a right-sided centre-back in January, and Umar Saleh from RB Salzburg was a possibility, but Liverpool decided to postpone their search for the summer instead. Another one, a little bit on Archie Gray, because I know a lot of people were asking about him at the start of the stream. From David Ornstein, said Liverpool, on their interest in Archie Gray, said, I'd be more surprised if there wasn't interest, but that doesn't mean he'll leave. Honestly, if I was representing Archie Gray right now, I'd be telling the kid to stay put for another season. Particularly if Leeds get up and get promoted to the Premier League again. A season in the Premier League with his club, no harm in that whatsoever. Plenty of time to get that big move. And we've seen in football over the last 10 or 15 years, a lot of promising young players make the move only for them not to get the minutes or for the managers not to think that they're fully ready to be dropped into the team. So if I was representing him, I'd say stay at Leeds for another season. Score predictions for United and 115 City on Sunday, said Colin Brooks. I can't see United getting anything from the game. I can't. I'd love them to, obviously, because it would help us, but can't see it. I think City ripped them apart, because I don't think United are all that. I think United now are going to be looking at the quarterfinal of the FA Cup against us as their season, basically. That yes, they'll want to try and keep in touch and distance of the Champions League places, but I think I think they'll come up a little bit short of that. Look, City, I can't see them not beating United. Although I'd love to be very wrong. Oh God, I'd love to be wrong. Where is Stefan? We spoke about him yesterday. So Klopp said the bone looks good. He's back on the training ground, working towards fitness. So I don't think he's going to be too far. I mean, don't take this as gospel, but I would say other side of the international break might be realistic. Marcus, thank you for your super chat. Marcus said, I thought I could not fall much in love with a Liverpool team as the 1920 team, but I was certainly wrong. Love this bunch of lads. Yeah, it's been unbelievable, hasn't it, this season? It's been amazing to see the determination, I guess, and the strength of the mental strength from these boys. Mark sent me this. Liverpool posted on X to say, for the first time in our history, 2 players aged 18 or younger have scored in the same senior game. Take a bow, Lewis Kumas and Jayden Dans. Of course, both of them come from good footballing families themselves. Lewis Kumas' father, Jason, was a winger, obviously, at Tranmere Rovers, and Neil Dans, professional footballer himself. So, yeah, Genuinely just a great news story that to see those two lads come through. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything I missed. Oh, Pochettino. Yes, I knew I had to have a laugh at Poch. Right. Did you see Pochettino's press conference after they went life and death with Leeds United of the Championship in the FA Cup? He said, "Chelsea proved we are brave. Gary, my friend, what have you done?" Obviously, talking about Gary Neville's £1 billion blue bottle jobs. Poch needs to just stop it. You beat Leeds of the Championship at your own gaff in the last minute, 3-2. Well done, Poch. Well done. Well done, mate. Your players have found the level. But to go on like Gary, my friend, what have you done? Man hasn't gone on a 15-game winning streak here. You know, they beat a championship team in the FA Cup at home, and Poch is trying to say that Gary Neville's unleashed a monster. All right, Poch, calm down, mate. Calm down. Did Neil Dans play at Palace? Yes, sir. He did indeed. Good show. Do you reckon some players' time at Liverpool will be up when the new manager comes in? Well, yes. I mean, obvious ones, Matip, Thiago, whose contracts are out. You'd have to look at the Adrian situation maybe. But those off the top of my head. And then there's some youth players that probably aren't going to get make the grade longer term, and they'd probably be moved on in the summer as well. Leeds were the better team as well, said Football Writer. Honestly, it's hilarious. Pochettino doesn't seem to learn when to shut up at this point. He just keeps giving us all more ammunition. How are you, Craig? Dentist today. Wish us luck. Ooh, yeah, good luck. I never look forward to visits to the dentist, mate. I don't, but best of luck to you. And thank you for your super chat. Craig, have you seen much of Trent Cone-Doherty? Not much. No, highlights is probably all I've really seen of him. Obviously, another part of the Irish contingent that are at Liverpool at the minute, and I love it. Came over from Derry, and yeah, very much hope that he works out. But I think I'm not at that point where I feel comfortable now one way or the other. But I'm certainly rooting for the kid. Do you think that the squad would have won these latest games if Klopp wasn't going? They're all pulling in a bigger shift. I don't know, because I don't think it's just the squad that have played a part in the last few weeks. I think the crowd have played a massive part as well. You know, the atmosphere for the game against Southampton, awesome. The League Cup final, absolutely unbelievable from the Liverpool end. So I think the supporters have helped raise the standards a bit and get behind those players. But yes, of course, players, coaches, they all deserve immense credit. At what point do we have a serious conversation about Pochettino? This dude is living off that Champions League run with Spurs. He's done nothing since that. That's a fair question. I said the same about Nagelsmann. You kind of have to be careful next jobs for these guys. I would say that there are probably more factors than just managerial ability in the situation at Chelsea. But I think also it's fair to say, has he accepted the right jobs? Has he looked maybe at the trajectory of these clubs and over guessed how good these situations might be? I don't know, but yeah, I think it's a fair conversation to say if he fails here, you know, does he deserve to walk into another top job? You know, that's not for us to say, I guess. Who do you dislike more, Poch or Tuchel? I don't really dislike either of them. I dislike Poch at the moment because he's a Chelsea manager and, you know, they're the rivals, but I don't know. I'd probably be able to. Poch, I'd probably prefer to Poch a tiny bit over Tuchel. I don't know. Thoughts on Arda Güler? That name has been linked for a while. Not ringing any bells for me at the moment. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. We're at 450 likes, by the way, so if you haven't hit the like button, friends, please do. If you're Chelsea and want to win something, why would you even bring in Poch? I think it's because of the younger players, Andre. I think that the aim was to kind of try to replicate what he did at Southampton and Spurs with a kind of younger squad. Hasn't been able to do it as of yet with this Chelsea squad, but you know, are they? Is the type of player brought in there at Chelsea, the type of young player maybe? Do they feel like they've made it, perhaps, because they're on those long contracts with big money? I don't know the answer to the question, but I do love seeing Chelsea floundering around, I've got to admit. Kieran, welcome to Anfield Agenda FC. Appreciate you, mate. Welcome in. Arda Güler, Real Madrid, Turkish wonder kid. Oh, I don't know, mate. I've no idea. I'm sorry. Not got a clue. What's the 4-4 Tunes video called that Craig is in? 1 second, mate. I will. It's called Football Reacts to the Carabao Cup Final. That's what it's called. I will put a link into the chat for you if you want to go and give it a watch. I'll pin it to the top of the chat. And hopefully that should work. There you go. It's pinned to the top of the chat now. So yes, Football Reacts to the Carabao Cup Final. Trent or Bradley for City if both are fit, who would you pick? Well, Trent won't be fit, so it's a bit of a moot point. International break or thereabouts, other side off for Trent. Honestly, at this point, stick with Bradley, because Trent would have to come back in, get minutes, get back up to fitness, get to sharpness. Bradley has that at the minute, so I'd probably stick with Bradley. How many tattoos do you have? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how to count them because they're sleeves and stuff. So I've got 1.5 arms done and a couple on my legs. That's pretty much it. What has Poch won? Did he win at him with PSG? I can't remember. I don't follow his career and his trophy haul. So, well, we know he won fucking nothing with Spurs. Anyway, that's a gimme. I don't know. Has he won anything? Has he won a charity shield or anything? I don't know. Would I bring Inacio next season? I do like Inacio, yes. And if Amarin comes in, you know, would he want to maybe work with somebody he's worked with before? Potentially. Yeah, he's certainly one of the names I would look at if we're looking to bring in a centre-back, yes. Oh, he's got a runners-up medal, yes, of course, for the 2-0 defeat that he suffered to us. But that's not winning that, and that's a runners-up medal. What about the DM from Fluminense? Can't remember his name. Andre? Gone really quiet, like across the board on Andre. Latest thing in the January window was Fulham were pushing, but didn't get to an agreement and nothing happened there. Who is Amorim? He's the Sporting Lisbon manager, Ruben Amorim, 38 years of age, very highly thought of coach, adored by the Lisbon fans for the way he plays, the way he conducts himself, and is believed to be the second on the list of wants for FSG for Liverpool manager after Xabi Alonso. Alex, Craig, here's a question for you. Are you ready for when Klopp's leave and the manager rumours start heating up? You're going to be a busy boy. Am I ready for it? I'm not ready for Klopp departing. You know, that's going to pull on the heartstrings, absolutely. Am I ready for the whole media part of it? Of course, I live for that, mate. You know, that's the fan channel's bread and butter. I hope, though, in all honesty, that there isn't a media circus. I hope we know by that point when Klopp departs who the incoming manager is going to be. So, yeah, I mean, I'd prefer because if we're going down the line of thinking about the media speculation and all that other stuff, then we're probably going to have too hectic of a summer because the Euros are on. We've got to get the new sporting director in, a new manager in, sort out the contracts of Verd, Salah and Trent, look to recruit as well in what's already going to be a shortened summer, and of course the trip over to America that the club are doing. So yeah, it's going to be mental. It's going to be very busy, and That's why I'm saying I hope the club have it sorted before then. Right, so according to Wikipedia, thank you, Mark, Poch won Ligue 1 in 21-22, the French Cup in 2021, and trophies the champions in 2020. I don't know what that is. Super Cup or something, is it, in France? Xabi ball or Klopp ball? Klopp ball. Klopp. Xabi will be amazing and all, but if you said to me now, Craig, you can have Xabi Alonso or 3 more years of Klopp, I'm taking 3 more years of Klopp. Not going to lie. I idolise Klopp. I know I've critiqued him on things, but I've often said I still wake up, pinch myself that Jurgen Klopp's the manager of our football club. I love him. What are your thoughts on the Edwards rumours of FSG going back in and wanting more control? So the truth is, Kieran, I don't know what part of this to believe. Is Edwards maybe briefing some friendly media to say, if I was to come back to Liverpool, I would want full control over the footballing side and a position above sporting director? Don't know. Or is this just wishful thinking? It depends on which journalist you read. Simon Hughes certainly seems to be more of the mindset that nothing has really changed in that regard, whereas others have been a bit more hopeful. Truth is, I have no idea. You know, would I like Michael Edwards back? Yeah, be great. But I don't think if we don't get Michael Edwards, it's going to be a catastrophe. I think there are other sporting directors out there worth consideration. And there's talk if he comes in as well, he wouldn't be sporting director, he'd be CEO of football or something like that. What's this? Eric Dyer will continue to play alongside Oh yeah, so Bayern Munich have triggered the clause to extend Eric Dyer's time by another 12 months. I'm sure Alonso's rubbing his hands together now thinking, yes, I get to work with Eric Dyer. Or he's probably gone, well, I'm off to Liverpool then. I remember squads where 3 or 4 injuries would have ended up seasons over. It's always a problem. Good first 11, but now else backed up. Well, to be fair, you'd have to say, with the amount of injuries we've had this season, it has shown how good our squad depth is. So I think we've got a very good assembled squad, and of course a great group of younger players coming through as well. Craig, are you a bit nervous about Sparta Prague because they're top of their league and they disposed of Galatasaray easily? Well, you're obviously not going to be any mugs if you've, as you said, disposed of Galatasaray, you're top of your league, and you're in the last 16 of the Europa League. But that being said, you also have to look at it and think, whatever way we want to dress this up, we feel we're a Champions League club. And we feel that we should be a level above the Europa League. So if we feel that, we got to go out and prove that. So am I worried about them? I wouldn't say worried. Respectful of Sparta Prague. But I've said it before and I'll say it again. We should be winning this competition. So let's go and win it. Newlon is better than Eric Dyer. Yeah, he is, LFC Spectre. You're very right, sir. Still only 503 likes, guys, where there's 1,250 people in the chat. So if you haven't, please do take 1 sec and hit that like button for us. Good evening, Craig. Who's your first choice for sporting director? Oh, God. Well, look, I probably would love the idea of Michael Edwards coming back. So I've got to agree, I would. Other than that, having honestly, I don't know the ins and outs of the sporting director world, but based off what's been written and said, if you're looking at the signings made by people, then I think Tim Steiten at West Ham, the players that he has brought in at clubs he's been at, is quite impressive. But sometimes it might be about a working relationship with a manager. So sometimes these things need to be tied together and you need to get the characters that will gel. VVD or Rio Ferdinand. So I think that VVD, if they're both at their very, 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 very best for one game, VVD's a better defender. Ferdinand's had a better career. Ferdinand was playing at a higher level in Europe and stuff for longer. And I've always said this, I think Rio Ferdinand is an exceptionally good centre-back. I thought he was by far the best I've seen at Manchester United. And I know others will disagree with me and talk about either Jaap Stam or Nemanja Vidic, but to me, I always thought that Rio Ferdinand was a Rolls Royce of a centre-back. Having watched them live as well, he was really good. Really, really good. That's my honest assessment. If you want one player for one match, I'm taking VVD. But if you're looking at their careers overall, Virg was quite late getting to the tippity top. You know, getting to Liverpool, playing Champions League regularly. I know he played at Celtic, but I mean really playing it. So I'd probably say Ferdinand had a more longevity in his career, but I would pick Virgil van Dijk. Craig, will Salah go this summer? And how about Jared Bowen as a replacement? So, will he go this summer? I truly don't know at this moment. So the reporting, I'm trying to give credit to who this was. I think it was Melissa Reddy at Sky. Apologies if I'm wrong. I think Melissa Reddy said that Mohamed Salah's vibe that he's putting out is that he still feels he has a lot to give at the top level, and that a move to Saudi is probably unlikely from footballing terms. Now, I'm paraphrasing again there, but my question is, if he feels he has more to deliver at the top level, if it isn't Liverpool, who else has the money? PSG, but is that an upgrade from Liverpool? Nope. So my hope is, of course, that Salah gets extended by another couple of years. Barry Taylor, how are you, mate? I got our wires crossed there, mate. I was meaning in the past too many seasons we had a good first 11, but very little backup if a few injured, so refreshing now. Sorry, mate. I often misinterpret comments, Barry. My apologies, sir. Incredible depth of squad. Yes, it's amazing. And you are right. And that's what I said about Spurs this season, Barry. They're like us in years gone by where first 11 can go out and compete with anybody. But if you lose one or two key players there, Son, Maddison, you drift away a bit. And I think that's been, we'll both agree, one of the positives of Liverpool's last 5-6 years is that we have started to build a bit more depth. If Ian Rush was still playing, how much would he cost in value? Honestly, not taking the piss, £170 million, £150 million, obscene money, like world record amounts of money. Yeah, real serious, very, very, very expensive, 150 million upwards. Gotta love the passion you have for the Reds. It's infectious, dude. Keep it going. Thank you, Mark O'Rourke. Much love, my friend. On that, I'm actually going to go and spend some time with the family because it's been a really hectic day here behind the scenes and I've been just work. So I'm going to try to unwind. Just a heads up again, tomorrow is my day off. So there will be no live content coming out tomorrow on Anfield Agenda. The preview will be coming out. That's recorded. That's going to go up tomorrow afternoon at some point. Do check out today's video on Top of the League as well, where I go into my thoughts on the Marcus Rashford situation. And yeah, other than that, look forward to catching up with you guys on Saturday for the watch along, where we will be starting from 2 o'clock and taking you right through the game as always. Until then, do drop a like before you head off. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And thank you for your time this evening as always. Talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.